Yeah, it's not about pushing the buy my stick. It's about being part of the whole. Welcome, bienvenue, welcome once again.
Dramatic, isn't it? Dun,
Dun. It is. And then, of course, with you puffing your vape everywhere, it's pointing out to everyone, of course, that's a vape. He would never smoke at work. David Chernick and myself, Gareth Wax, of the many purple hats, up to 7 now. What I wanted to point out is the reason why we talk, the reason why David and I spend time is because I think we hit each other up originally via networking. It was because of the intricate web of people who know us both, and that we were either introduced or became aware of each other, and we built our relationship based on that. But if it hadn't been for sensible networking of one sort or another, we might, under normal conditions, have never come across each other.
Could have saved us.
But joking aside, I think many people think that I don't have to spend time and effort on marketing or any effort on sales. All I've got to do is show up at a bunch of networking events, pass out my card, smile a lot, and eventually I'll just get business. Or rather, not eventually, immediately I'll get business. Mm-hmm. Without realizing there's humans in the mix, and humans take a little bit of, not convincing, but they want to see consistency in approach, and they want to see that you're the real deal, that you are who you say you are, and the only way of doing that is time. I don't think you get around the time factor of it.
Well, I mean, time is a factor it is one of the dimensions in which we live our lives, right? So yes.
Well, arguably the fourth dimension.
Well, it is the fourth dimension, but one of the 4 dimensions. Anyway, but it's time is a factor, but what you do in that time is obviously very, very important. You know, networking is about people. It's about mixing with a variety of people. And if you're networking for referral business, so basically to see how to get business out of it, you know, then you have to do it in a very particular way. Very few people, unless they're going to a trade show and they're a buyer, are going to go to a networking event to buy stuff. Right? Nobody turns up to, like, I do BNI. Yeah, I'm mad for it. And I know that you're not a big fan. And I know that BNI can split opinion sometimes, but
I used to be a big fan, but I'm no longer as big a fan. Let's put it that way.
Well, look, I mean, you have to be a giver for it to work. So, but anyway, people don't go and join a networking organization or do networking regularly because they're in the market to buy stuff. You know, right? I've rocked up at a networking event, at a conference, because I want to buy stuff. And as I say, it's a trade show, and it is a place where buyers are going. So if you go to these places and you're trying to sell stuff, you're not speaking to an audience there that is going to be receptive to that. You're going to come across as being a very salesy, pushy kind of person.
Right.
And as you just pointed out, with a lack of any kind of distinction, like human relationship with them. You know, they don't know you, they don't necessarily like you because they don't know you, and they certainly don't trust you because they've had no dealings with you, they've not seen you deal with anybody else, they've not learned how to like you yet, and they don't know you. So yeah, so what are they going to buy? They might buy a bunch of flowers if you're a florist, because there's not that much at stake with florist. But are they going to hand over the keys to their LinkedIn to someone like you if they don't know you? Are they going to, you know, follow my advice on sales? Well, they might do because it's such good advice. But you know, on the first meeting, you know, are they really going to do that? No, they're not. So you do get different types of people turning up to networking, and you get these people, you know, we could think of them perhaps as hunters, and they're the ones that go around and they want to shove, I think you just said it, didn't you, their business card in your hand. And
I'll never forget. I never forget that I went to one in London, and I got there, and this guy was literally wandering around, just literally shoving cards into people's hands. He said, "Hello, my name is this. Take my card." I remember, and I said I didn't want to take his card because I didn't know who he was, and he got really upset with me.
I once got somebody very upset when they shoved a card in my hand, and I started using it as a toothpick. They do make great toothpicks. Can I bring out my prop?
Go on then.
Let me get some music rolling. Okay, so I'm going to get some music. But this is just as I'm queuing up my tune. The people go around with the business cards and they shove business cards in you, and it's kind of like, well, what are they expecting you to do with that business card? Do they really think, because they won't have had any experience of it, do they really think you're going to get back to the office and phone them up and go, yo, what was it you were trying to sell me? Because I really want to buy some. You know, so anyway.
Here we go, and put some music up here.
Now this, you know, if we've done networking together, you might recognise your cards in there. In fact, there was one when I was just looking. Anyway, this is a lot of business cards, right? I do a lot of networking, and these are all the people that would shove their cards in my face at these gigs. Okay, as it fades out. Now, what am I going to do with those? Really, what do you think I'm going to do with them? I used to pay one of my kids to data entry them, and then I'd add them to my marketing list. And of course, none of them are going to buy stuff off a bit of spam from them shoving a card in my face. So, you know, it does beg the question, what are we using cards for? But that's not why you're going to go to network. If you want to get referrals, you need to be able to go to networking events in order to try and make some connections with people, which is the beginning of investing in a relationship with them. Right now, clearly you probably have enough friends already. Yeah, so you don't go to networking to find more friends, although that is a side benefit. If you are nice, there's an opportunity to make friends, but you're going there to try and make connections, particularly with people that you feel you can be of help to and might be able to be of help to you in some dimension.
Right.
Yeah. Now at BNI, our approach uses the ubiquitous philosophy of the golden rule. Yeah, treat other people how you want to be treated. You know, what goes around comes around. Karma. We call it givers gain. Yeah, so we are motivated to give. So if you go to a networking event and you are motivated by, well, who can I actually help here? Yeah, what sort of help do people want from here? Yeah, if you go in with that kind of attitude, then you're going to be more likable. You know, people are going to want to perhaps get to know you a bit better, and they are not going to be so guarded because you won't be forcing your shit on them. So that's a good attitude, right? So if you are doing that, then you're going to be making those connections. But of course, they're not going to turn into anything unless you invest in the relationships, and that further investment means following up with them.
Means taking actual time out to do something positive towards building that relationship, as opposed to just waiting for it to happen. I think a lot of people go to these things, they talk with all great intentions, but then just don't follow up.
Don't follow up. And it's funny because I meet a lot of people through networking, and they, you know, you hear words like, oh, we should follow up with each other. Now, if they don't follow, and almost none do with the people. I mean, I tell you what I do. If I want to follow up with somebody, and this might be my ADHD brain working like a workaround I've developed over many years, is I know that I'm not going to get back to the office, and you know, with the stack of cards that I've got there, well, I'm going to go through these and I'm going to think, oh, right, so who is this guy? Silver, O2 Architecture. It doesn't even have his name on it. Kevin.
Oh my God, a card without a person's name on it. I've had that before.
Luke,
What's the point of that?
Dinesh. I mean, I do know some of these people actually, but I'm not going to go through and say, oh yeah, I'm going to follow up with that guy. I take my phone to these things. If there's something that's worth following up about, I put it in there and then. I make them wait there for the few seconds it takes for me to grab their details off their QR code from LinkedIn or wherever. Yeah, or they just tell me their name. Can you spell it right? Yeah, is that right? Is that your given name? Is that the name you're known by? Okay, and then you'll type your phone number and your email. Right, when are we going to follow up? Right, now it's a little bit of a pain in the neck to do that each time, but it has some positive effects. One is it limits how many people I'm going to be doing it with, and so that it's a more qualified person,
right?
And it makes sure that follow up will happen. Yeah, both from my sides, because I know it won't happen unless it's written down, and from their sides, right? So I can schedule a call. I can get on the blower at that time. That demonstrates that I'm a reliable person because it will be at that time. I can then switch them over to Zoom if I wanted to turn it into a sales meeting. Yeah, and we can crack on and see how we can help each other. But that's really how we can do that. There are different types of role that you might play at a networking gig. You might be one of the people there. Sometimes you might be the person giving a talk or a presentation. Right. So, if you do a good presentation, which is very, very unlikely because most of your presentations are diabolical and we know it, right? But if you can do a good one, which will set you in the 1% club, a crowd of people will want to interact with you afterwards, right? And they'll want you to take their business card quite often, or they'll want to have a conversation. So there it can pay to get very efficient at collecting their contact details and setting up follow-up and qualifying and setting up your follow-up with.
Right.
If I've had a big gig, I'll tend to recruit somebody to help me at that point where after you've spoken, you get a crowd of people coming up to the stage wanting to interact with you to help. Oh, could you just leave your details with John and then we'll follow up and then John will book it in or whatever, right? So we can do those things, but there's 2 points here, or 3 points. One, don't sell to the room because nobody is there to buy. 2, look for opportunities to connect with people who you feel you can help and that might be able to help you. And 3, figure out your follow-up strategy with them. Otherwise, nothing will happen as a result.
I always try and give out information that will reassure people that am A, not trying to sell them anything, and B, that they somehow demonstrates some of my capability and makes me memorable. So I usually give out LinkedIn tips. That's how I try and make myself. Every meeting I go to, I say, I'll tell you what, does anybody want a quick LinkedIn tip? And I give one out. And all I'm trying to do by that, yeah, it's risible in some ways. You're always giving out something silly LinkedIn tips. But I tell you what, it solidifies in people's mind that Gareth has got tips and tricks and ideas on how to do stuff. And then if they like my personality as well, which isn't always a given, but if they like that as well, and they hit any of the areas that I need, they don't have time, but they want that kind of support, then theoretically the stars will align because they've had demonstration that I'm capable. They see me as a person they like, and they have a need. And if the 3 fits, then I'll get the referral. Where it doesn't work, and I did try this in the early days, I go up to people and say, "So, would you like me to work with you? Would you like to? Would you like that? Would you?"
And your autism wouldn't have helped because you wouldn't have picked up the signal.
No, they'd be shrinking into a corner, saying, "Don't hurt me."
And you'd still be on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You haven't answered me. What do you want? So yeah, it's. I've learned to relax. I've learned to play the dance at a distance almost, and I think if you take that attitude, also, I think you can't measure the efficacy of any networking group, whether it be a BNI, whether it be circles, whether it be anything at all, until you've attended a good few times. That's often can be measured in 5, 10 times. By that stage, you'll have worked out who is gravitating towards you mentally, and who's becoming an acquaintance. Who it's people who are thinking on the same wavelength as you. There may well be people that don't. You don't like everybody.
I do. But
well, yeah, that's your obsession. But that that's down to daddy issues. But anyway, moving on to the matter is it's a long-term referral goal rather than a short-term referral sale. And I think that's, if you get that in your mind, that it's a process of humans getting to know humans, I think you'll potentially prosper. It's when people go in there and after 3 sessions, well, nobody's bought my stuff. And I think
referral networking for referrals is not sales, it is marketing. It is referral marketing. So you need to know that this is a marketing exercise.
But at the same token, if you're always turning up and talking about your pet iguana rather than anything else, that's what people will know you for. So you've got to realize that you have at times got to pepper the conversation with relevancy so they understand that you actually know a little bit about what you talk. But it doesn't have to be that all the time. Yeah, you could talk about your hollybobs and
I mean, I spend my time at these sorts of things, trying to connect to people, trying to find out the sorts of things they're looking for, how I could be of help to them, usually by introductions, because I'm not really, trying to get business out of people that I'm directly networking with per se, but it's more who they know.
Yes, it's usually you're talking through the room rather than to the room. And in many ways, I also think it's an exercise in making each person there a mini marketing arm for my company, so they can either they can represent my interests, or they can at least say, I know this guy knows something about LinkedIn and I quite like him, or I know this guy knows something about LinkedIn and he's really irritating, but he probably knows what he's talking about. And either of those work for me. It's where they go, who's Gareth?
Who are you?
Doesn't he wear a hat?
No, I never heard of him.
Exactly. Then you've not done your job. They should at least know something about you. But it's not a quick process. All right, David, take us home.
So if you want to be generating business through referrals, then that really requires you to be proactive. And that is probably going to lead you down to the world of networking. It's not everybody's comfort space. Gareth, I know that you don't necessarily like being in big crowds in the thick of it, unless you're the entertainer or presenter.
If I'm the entertainer or presenter, I'm fine. If I'm just there as a number, I can sometimes feel like the walls are closing in. And
so a lot of people have that for various different reasons. But if you want to do referral marketing, then it is worth acquiring these sorts of experiences and skills. But don't walk into a room of people who are not there to buy your services and try and sell them stuff. By all means, hand out your card or give people your contact details, but don't expect that by them receiving it, they're going to use it for anything more than a toothpick. If it's a brilliant card, then they probably keep it for a little bit, and maybe they will phone you up if they have a thought. But don't sell to the room. Instead, try and make connections with people who you have something in common with, or that you feel you can help and that can help you. And then if there are some that you can qualify and that you think you are vibing with, and they might know people who you want to get to know, and you might know people that they want to get to know, then book in your follow-up. And I would always recommend booking it in there and then, because if you trust yourself to do it later, it won't happen in the majority of cases.
The beauty of any relationship build is in the follow-up. Whether or not it's a relationship build leading towards a sale, or it's a relationship build leading towards someone who can be trusted to help you find or do a thing. It doesn't.
A lot of people in BNI say the fortune is in the follow-up.
Right. Okay. Well, those BNI people. Well, if you must be part of a cult, Anyway, so sorry,
You throw that in on the 20th minute, mate.
I did that. And I hold my hand up to it. No, it's not. Give us gain. Right, yeah. Clap your hands. It's a wonderful place. Full of beautiful people.
Look, if anybody wants an invitation to come and visit one or one of your circles or something,
I recommend anybody who's never been to a BNI should go to it. It takes all sorts. I think everyone should go to one. And the same goes with circles. I think circles are amazing as well for entirely different reasons. But you'll get something out of both. I guarantee it. Anyway, until the next time we talk, it's been awesome talking with you all. And thank you once again, David Chernick, for helping us see a clear path through to better referral marketing. And myself, Gareth Wax. Until the next time we speak, we keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the moon. I didn't want to overstretch. And remember, it is made of cheese. And of course, just look after that mental health.